Hey everybody, Daryl Lucas here. I had a chance to do too many videos of late because of having to had to go out and do DoorDash in order to earn extra money. Married life, of course, but something's been laying in my heart lately. I felt like I had to share. Many of you know that I've been sharing a lot of articles written by Christian investigative journalist Julie Roys, who has turned the hot lights on a lot of pastors who seem to have forgotten that they're not above the rest of us and believe accountability is the eighth deadly sin. But lately, something has come to light that has put Roy's sterling legacy in great danger. A few weeks ago, several advocates for spiritual abuse survivors noticed that just a very troubling passage in Roy's 2017 book, Recovering the Feminine Soul. She was discussing a relationship with a woman, with a young girl who'd been part of a youth ministry where she was serving as a leader at a church back in the 90s. She continued a relationship that she framed as codependency and as codependency, even though she continued contacting her when she made clear she didn't want to be. The girl made clear she didn't want to be contacted. Now, to her credit, Roy's admitted that she was in the wrong and sought counseling, but a number of advocates were troubled by how she framed it in a way that the girl shared any responsibility at all, given the fact that as a ministry leader, Roy's was in a position of power and responsibility over her. It took a good deal of prodding, but earlier this week, Roy's apologized for the way she'd framed her, and that she was pulling the book from sale on her website and then Facebook, and was talking with her publisher about next steps, which can only lead to pulping the book altogether. Now that is more than can be said for a number of the pastors whom Roy's has covered, most notably John MacArthur, who because of Roy's work, we now know that MacArthur has no qualms about publicly shaming survivors of abuse when they refuse to take back their abusive jerks of husbands, as well as covering for them when they admit to sexual abuse. We also know that MacArthur has no qualms about keeping pastors on his staff when they admit to abuse, or for allowing potential abusive Sunday school teachers to stay at large for 2 years. Through all this, all we've gotten from MacArthur and his supporters has been an attempts to shoot the messenger and those seeking to amplify the message. For instance, maybe you saw that when I called MacArthur out, one of his supporters saw fit to harp on my support for marriage equality. Now, when a pastor engages in behavior that not only breaks the law, but every standard of decency that is known, where his or her critics stand on marriage equality and LGBT rights, ought to rank pretty low on the list, if it's on the list at all. Now, they ought to take a lesson from Roy's, who at least has taken steps to admit what she did was wrong. But with all due respect, Julie, you haven't gone far enough. For instance, in a Twitter exchange with another abuse advocate, Roy said she would, and I quote, would acknowledge what I know to be true once she unpacked it. No, Julie, it's not about what you know to be true. It's about what is true. You need to come to a more mature understanding of what you did. And this is a time where it's not enough to just admit what she did was wrong, but also understand why what she did was wrong. I say this as someone who has done everything short of stand up and applaud your work, because I've tried to demonstrate to my compatriots on Daily Kos that there are Christians out there who care about cleaning their own house. So, Julie, as one journalist to another, I beg you, don't damage the legacy you've already built. Fully own what you did, and show an example to an example for others to follow. That is all.